It all began with a wedding. But not just any wedding. This was the grand union of Peleus, a mortal king, and Thetis, a divine sea nymph. Their wedding was destined to be a magnificent affair, attended by the most powerful beings in the universe. Peleus, a king, and Thetis, a sea nymph, were getting married. The gods and goddesses of Mount Olympus were all invited to celebrate this momentous occasion. The air was filled with joy and anticipation. All the important gods were invited, except one. Eris, the goddess of discord, was deliberately left out. The gods feared her penchant for causing chaos and strife. Eris, the goddess of discord, was left out. She stood at the edge of the celebration, feeling the sting of exclusion. Her anger began to simmer. And boy, was she angry. Her fury knew no bounds. She was determined to make her presence felt, to remind the gods of the consequences of ignoring her. Eris decided to cause trouble. She devised a plan that would turn the joyous celebration into a battleground of vanity and jealousy. She threw a golden apple into the wedding feast. The apple gleamed with an otherworldly light, immediately drawing the attention of everyone present. The apple had "For the Fairest" written on it. This simple inscription was enough to ignite a fierce competition among the goddesses. Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite, three powerful goddesses, each claimed the apple. They argued and argued. Their voices rose in a cacophony of demands and accusations, each one convinced of her own unparalleled beauty. Who was the fairest of them all? The question hung in the air, heavy with tension. The goddesses' rivalry threatened to overshadow the entire celebration. Zeus, king of the gods, didn't want to get involved. He knew that choosing one goddess over the others would only lead to more discord, so he decided to pass the responsibility to someone else. He chose a young prince, Paris of Troy, to decide. Paris was known for his fairness and judgment, making him the perfect candidate for this delicate task. Each goddess offered Paris a bribe. Hera promised him power and dominion over all lands. Athena offered wisdom and skill in battle. But it was Aphrodite who made the most tempting offer of all. Aphrodite, the goddess of love, promised him the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen. Helen's beauty was legendary, and the promise of her love was irresistible. There was just one problem. Helen was already married to Menelaus, king of Sparta. This small detail, however, did not deter Paris. Helen was already married to Menelaus, king of Sparta. No matter. Paris was determined to claim his prize, regardless of the consequences. Paris chose Aphrodite and sailed off to Greece with Helen. Their departure set off a chain of events that would lead to one of the most famous conflicts in history. Thus began the Trojan War, a war that would rage for 10 years, bringing heroes and gods into its fold, all because of a single golden apple and the face that launched 1,000 ships. Menelaus was furious. His wife, Helen, had been taken from him, and his honor was at stake. The betrayal cut deep, and he couldn't let it go unpunished. He called upon his brother Agamemnon, the most powerful king in Greece. Agamemnon, known for his ambition and military prowess, saw an opportunity to expand his influence and agreed to help. Together they gathered a huge army. Warriors from all over Greece answered the call, eager for glory and the spoils of war. The assembly of such a force was unprecedented, a testament to their determination. They sailed across the Aegean Sea to lay siege to Troy. The journey was long and perilous, but their resolve was unshakable. The sight of their massive fleet struck fear into the hearts of their enemies. The Greeks were strong and brave. They were seasoned warriors, hardened by countless battles. Their reputation as fierce fighters preceded them. They had heroes like Achilles, the swift-footed warrior whose prowess in battle was unmatched. His very presence on the battlefield was enough to turn the tide of any conflict, and Ajax, the mighty shield-bearer. His strength and courage were legendary, but Troy was well defended. Its walls were high and strong, and its warriors were no less determined. The Trojans were led by King Priam and his son Hector, a noble and fearsome fighter. Hector's leadership and valor inspired his men to stand firm against the Greek onslaught. The war raged for 10 long years. Battles were fought with ferocity and desperation. Each side sought to break the stalemate, but the cost was high. Heroes fell on both sides. The loss of each warrior was a heavy blow, felt deeply by their comrades and families. The fields of Troy were stained with the blood of countless brave souls. The gods themselves took part, some siding with the Greeks, others with the Trojans. Their interventions often turned the tide of battle, adding a divine element to the human struggle. But neither side could win a decisive victory. The war dragged on, with no end in sight. Both Greeks and Trojans were locked in a deadly embrace, each waiting for the moment that would finally tip the scales. The Greek army camped outside the walls of Troy. They couldn't break through. The Trojans were trapped inside, but they were determined to defend their city. The war had gone on too long. The Greeks were weary. They missed their homes and families. Their leaders argued amongst themselves. Something had to change. Odysseus, king of Ithaca, was known for his cleverness and guile. He came up with a daring and unorthodox plan. If they couldn't take Troy by force, they would take it by stealth. They would trick the Trojans into letting them inside their impenetrable city. Odysseus shared his plan with the other Greek leaders. They were skeptical at first. Could it really work? Would the Trojans fall for such a ruse? But Odysseus was persuasive. He argued that they had nothing to lose. The war was at a standstill. They had to try something different. The Greeks set about building a giant wooden horse. It was hollow inside, large enough to conceal a group of armed warriors. They worked tirelessly under the cover of night to complete their secret weapon. The fate of the war and the lives of countless men depended on this wooden horse. The most skilled craftsman in the Greek army, Epeius, led the construction. He used timbers from their own ships, a poignant reminder of their longing for home. They left a trapdoor cleverly hidden in the horse's side, through which the warriors would emerge. With the Trojan horse complete, Odysseus gathered his most trusted warriors. Menelaus, eager to reclaim Helen, was among them. Diomedes, the courageous king of Argos, also volunteered. One by one, they climbed into the belly of the horse, their weapons at the ready. Then the trapdoor was closed, plunging them into darkness. The rest of the Greek army, pretending to give up the siege, set fire to their camp. They boarded their ships and sailed away, disappearing over the horizon. But they didn't go far. They hid their fleet behind the nearby island of Tenedos, waiting for nightfall and their chance to strike. The Trojans, seeing the Greek ships sail away, thought their enemy had finally given up. After 10 long years, the war was over. They had won. They poured out of their city, eager to inspect the abandoned Greek camp and, of course, the strange wooden horse left behind. Some Trojans were wary. Don't trust the Greeks, even bearing gifts, they warned, but their pleas were ignored. The Trojans were caught up in the euphoria of their apparent victory. They saw the horse as a gift, an offering to the goddess Athena. They decided to bring it inside their city walls. As night fell and the Trojans slept, unaware of the danger lurking within their walls, the Greek fleet quietly returned to the shores of Troy. The city, which had withstood a decade-long siege, was now on the brink of its most devastating night. The Trojans, believing the war to be over, celebrated their supposed victory, never suspecting the cunning plan that was about to unfold. A signal was given, and the trapdoor in the horse's side swung open. Out came Odysseus and his men, like wasps from a nest, their swords glinting in the moonlight. They silently killed the Trojan guards and opened the city gates for the rest of the Greek army. The Greeks swarmed into Troy, taking the unsuspecting Trojans completely by surprise. Chaos ensued. The Greeks, fueled by years of frustration and a thirst for revenge, showed no mercy. The Trojans, awoken from their sleep by the sounds of battle, fought bravely but were hopelessly outnumbered and outmaneuvered. The city was sacked. Troy, once thought invincible, fell in a single night. The once proud city, with its towering walls and grand palaces, was reduced to smouldering ruins. The streets ran red with blood, and the cries of the fallen echoed through the night. The Greeks, having achieved their long-sought victory, plundered the city, taking treasures and captives. The fall of Troy marked the end of an era, a tale of hubris and cunning that would be told for generations to come. The wooden horse, a symbol of Greek ingenuity, stood as a silent witness to the destruction it had wrought. As dawn broke, the smoke from the burning city could be seen for miles, a grim reminder of the cost of war and the fleeting nature of glory. The story of the Trojan horse is a tale of cunning, deception, and the brutal realities of war. It is a story that has resonated throughout history, a stark reminder that victory can be achieved not only through strength, but through guile and strategy. Even today, the phrase Trojan horse is used to describe something that appears harmless but conceals a hidden danger. It is a testament to the enduring power of Greek mythology and the timeless lessons it continues to teach us about human nature, conflict, and the seductive allure of victory.